iOS 18 is finally out, and in this video, I want to share some of the best features, some of my personal favorite features, and even some hidden features you can expect to see in iOS 18 on your iPhone. The biggest new change that you're going to be seeing on iOS 18 is the home screen customization. You can do a whole bunch now in iOS 18. So previously we had the light icons, but now we're getting dark icons on iOS. And I've got to say, ever since I've been using the dark icons, it's really hard to go back to the light icons. The dark icons just look really good on iOS 18. You can also have the automatic, so when it's sunset, you can automatically go into dark icons. And also you're getting a tinted icon option where you can just colorize different tints to the icon so it's kind of uniform throughout. This is going to be useful if you wanted to match with the wallpaper or something like that. But my personal favorite has to be the dark icons. And also on the topic of home screen, you also have different options here where you can get rid of icon labels and widget labels. So if you customize your icons and you choose the large icon, you now no longer have those labels. So if you want to have a minimal look, that's an option that's also available in the new home screen customization in iOS 18. Next, we have the redesigned control center, and this has to be the most useful update in iOS 18. The control center was really good, but now it just got a whole lot better and a lot more useful, especially for me. So the first page is going to be your favorite icons. You can customize that, and you also have the HomeKit icons. You also have your media page, and finally you also have your settings toggle, all in this one little user interface where you can just swipe between different page options. Now you can see all my favorite controls over here, and now when you want to add a new control, it's just the same way as you would add a new icon to your home screen. You're going to hold onto it and it's going to give you the option to add a control, and there's a whole bunch of controls that you can choose between in this little list here, and there's a lot of options that you can choose, and it's definitely going to be tailored to basically what you want to have. So you might not be using all of these options, but there is definitely some usable options, especially some of the accessibility, some of the Wi-Fi connectivity or the cellular connections. There's a whole bunch of options that you can choose between and have it tailored based on what you really need from your iPhone. Next, we have a subtle little change, but it can be very useful in the Safari application. So now whenever you go into the web browser and you're looking through a website and there happen to be distracting material or ads or content, you have the option to hide distracting items directly within Safari. So you can see right now, if I click on hide distracting items, I can select this ad, and once I click it hide, it's automatically going to get rid of that ad in a really nice, satisfying animation. And you can just select different types of ad content or different content that you don't want to see, and you can have that all removed directly within the Safari web browser that you're using right now. It can be really useful in different situations. The best case scenario that I see is if you're doing research and you happen to be on a web page for a very long time and there's a lot of distracting ads or content, you can finally hide all of that so you can just focus on the content that you want to focus on instead of all those extra ads and other content that you don't really care about. So it can be really useful in the Safari application, especially if you use Safari for anything else. It's going to be really useful to hide these distracting items directly within the web browser. The Messages app is also getting some nice updates, but my favorite feature has to be the option to send messages later. So now when you click on the little plus icon, there's going to be an option to send later, and you can type out a message for when you want to send at a later date. So just in case if you forget to send something and you want to be on top of it, you can have scheduled messages. And if it's going to be something like where you have to wake up in the morning to say something early and you don't want to wake up, then you can just have the scheduled message. It works in different type of situations. I know other apps probably have this feature, but it's nice to see this finally built into the iMessage on iOS 18. Next, we have the customization of the lock screen controls. For the longest time, it's only been the flashlight or camera, and I know you had to be jailbroken if you want to see different type of control toggles, but now you can do this directly within the lock screen, so you can remove those icons and have it selected to any of these controls. It's highly customizable, and you can have shortcuts to open up applications as well. So it's very useful and very versatile, so you can now finally customize those icons to whatever controls that you would want to have on the lock screen, so you're not just limited to the flashlight or the camera. Next, Apple's also introducing a brand new application called Passwords, and inside this app you're going to have all your passwords saved in one location, as well as Wi-Fi password, passkeys, codes, and everything that you would need when you usually go into the settings to find this information. You now have a dedicated app, so all in one app, and it just makes it a lot easier to find passwords, Wi-Fi passwords to share to someone. It just makes it a lot easier, and now we have a dedicated app for all your passwords in iOS 18. Apple introduced a brand new calculator on the iPad, which can also be found on the iPhone, and it also works in the Notes application. So if you want to keep track of some finances, you can easily do that in the Notes application, so it's going to be a lot more useful. You don't have to have any secondary apps. You can just now do this right within the Notes application, and you can see you can just add different things together, subtract different things together, and it just does the math for you, so you don't have to pull out the calculator. Obviously, this does look a lot better on the iPad's calculator app, but you can also use this directly on your iPhone, and you also get the little math note feature in the iPhone calculator as well. But I just think it's a lot more useful on an iPad, especially on the bigger display, so you can write your equations out and get that all answered for you directly within the calculator app using math notes. Next, we have a nice little subtle change in iOS 18. So now whenever you click on any of the buttons on your iPhone, like the volume rocker, the action button, or even the power icon, you're going to get this bezel animation, which looks really clean, and it just makes the iPhone more lively in my opinion, and it just looks really cool. The animations in iOS 18 has been truly outstanding, and this has to be one of my favorite animations right now in iOS 18. Apple introduced the action button with the iPhone 15 Pro models, and it's now finally available on iPhone 16s and the 16 Pro, and Apple's made it a lot more customizable since its launch last year. So if you go into the settings and you go into the action button icon, there's going to be different options that you can choose between. All the basic options are still there, like the silent mode, camera, flashlight, and so on, but now you're going to get the controls icon, so you can actually control different things directly within the action button. So I currently have it triggering HomeKit, so it automatically goes into the home app. You can also have it for different types of controls. I also like to use it for the remote control, so every time I want to use a Siri remote, I can just click on the action button and it takes me directly into the Siri remote. And this is customizable in the settings now, and you can also have shortcuts to open up apps. So if you want to do that, I believe that was actually previously available, but the new controls option is new to the action button in iOS 18. And finally, in iOS 18, Apple is combining reminders and the calendars app together, so you no longer have to go into the reminders to set up a reminder. You can just go into the calendar, and as you would add an event, you have the option to add an event or a reminder directly within the calendar app. I personally didn't like the reminders app. I just felt like it was really hard to use. I do use the calendar app a lot, and this just makes it a lot more easier to put in reminders into the calendar, and it makes it a lot easier when you can just do it right within the calendar. So that's definitely been a major change and one of my favorite features coming to the new calendars app, which is also slightly better because it has different options available on how you view your planners as well. But the biggest introduction has to be the combination of reminders into the calendars app. And that's about it for this video. If you guys want to see more videos like this, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.